From the fog-covered streets of Victorian London to quiet English villages hiding deadly secrets, England has witnessed some of the most shocking female killers in criminal history. Behind innocent smiles and respectable lives were women capable of manipulation, poison, and unimaginable violence. We uncover the chilling true stories of England's most notorious female killers, the crimes that terrified the nation, shocked investigators, and left dark scars on British history forever. Today we will talk about England's most notorious female killers. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The dark history behind England's female murderers. England has a long and disturbing criminal history filled with serial killers, poisoners, and murderers whose crimes shocked entire generations. While male killers often dominate historical crime stories, some of the most horrifying crimes in English history were committed by women whose actions terrified the nation and challenged society's understanding of violence. These women came from very different backgrounds. Some were nurses, mothers, caretakers, or seemingly respectable members of society, yet behind closed doors they committed acts of cruelty, manipulation, and murder that left investigators stunned. England's most notorious female killers often relied on poison, deception, and psychological control rather than physical force. Many of them operated for years without suspicion because people struggled to believe women could commit such calculated crimes. Some murdered for financial gain, others out of jealousy, revenge, or psychological disturbance. Their stories became national obsessions covered in newspapers, courtroom trials, books, and documentaries. From the grim streets of Victorian London to quiet English villages hiding deadly secrets, these crimes continue to fascinate true crime audiences because they reveal how evil can hide beneath ordinary appearances. 2. Myra Hindley, the woman behind the Moors murders. Few female killers in British history are as infamous as Myra Hindley. Born in Manchester in 1942, Hindley became one half of the terrifying duo responsible for the Moors murders alongside Ian Brady. During the 1960s, the pair abducted, tortured, and murdered several children around Greater Manchester. The crimes horrified the nation because of the young ages of the victims and the sadistic nature of the killings. Hindley initially appeared to be an ordinary young woman with blonde hair and a calm personality, but investigators later uncovered her horrifying involvement in the murders. The victims were lured with promises of help, rides, or small favors before being taken to remote moorland areas where they were abused and killed. Some of the crimes were secretly recorded on audio tapes, adding another layer of horror when details emerged during the investigation. The media became obsessed with Hindley's expressionless police mugshot, which eventually became one of the most recognizable criminal images in British history. During the trial, prosecutors argued that Hindley willingly participated in the murders and helped Brady target vulnerable children. Public anger toward her became intense because many people viewed her betrayal of maternal trust as especially disturbing. Hindley spent decades in prison while repeatedly denied parole due to the severity of the crimes and continued public outrage. 3. Mary Ann Cotton, England's Victorian-era serial poisoner. Long before modern forensic science existed, Mary Ann Cotton became one of England's earliest known female serial killers. Born in 1832, Cotton appeared to be an ordinary working-class woman living during the Victorian era, but behind that ordinary image was a terrifying pattern of death. Over many years, multiple husbands, children, and relatives connected to Cotton died under suspicious circumstances. At the time, poverty, disease, and high mortality rates were common, allowing her crimes to remain hidden for years. Investigators eventually noticed that many of the deaths occurred after the victims suffered severe stomach illnesses consistent with arsenic poisoning. Cotton often collected insurance money following the deaths, leading authorities to suspect financial motives. Historians believe she may have murdered more than 20 people, including several of her own children. Victorian England became horrified by the idea of a mother systematically poisoning family members for money. Newspapers closely followed the sensational investigation and trial, describing Cotton as cold and emotionless. During her trial in 1873, prosecutors presented evidence showing how she repeatedly used arsenic, a substance commonly available at the time. She was convicted and publicly executed by hanging. 4. Amelia Dyer, the baby farmer killer. Amelia Dyer committed one of the most horrifying crimes in English history by exploiting vulnerable mothers and murdering infants placed in her care. Born in 1837, Dyer worked as a baby farmer, a term used during Victorian England for women paid to care for unwanted babies. At the time, poverty and social stigma surrounding unmarried mothers created desperate situations where women sought secret care for their children. Dyer advertised herself as a trustworthy caretaker, but investigators later discovered a horrifying truth. Instead of caring for the infants, she murdered many of them shortly after receiving payment from the mothers. Historians believe she may have killed hundreds of babies over several decades, making her one of the most prolific serial killers in British history. Dyer often strangled infants using white tape and disposed of their bodies in rivers or hidden locations. Her crimes remained undetected for years because infant mortality rates were extremely high during the Victorian era. Authorities finally connected her to the murders after bodies were discovered in the River Thames and traced back to her through evidence hidden in packaging materials. Public outrage exploded when details emerged about the scale of the killings. Newspapers portrayed her as a monster who preyed on vulnerable women and innocent children for profit. In 1896, Amelia Dyer was convicted and executed by hanging. Her crimes shocked England so deeply that they eventually contributed to stronger child protection laws and increased regulation of adoption and childcare practices. 5. Beverly Allitt, the Angel of Death. Nurse. Beverly Allitt became one of England's most feared modern killers after abusing her position as a pediatric nurse to harm children under her care. Born in 1968, Allitt worked at Grantham and Kesteven Hospital in Lincolnshire during the early 1990s. Colleagues initially viewed her as quiet and hardworking, but disturbing patterns soon emerged inside the children's ward. Several young patients suddenly suffered unexplained medical emergencies, including heart attacks and breathing failures. Some children survived with severe injuries, while others died unexpectedly. Doctors and investigators eventually discovered that Allitt had deliberately injected victims with insulin or potassium, causing catastrophic medical crises. The public was horrified because hospitals are places where vulnerable people expect safety and healing, not deadly betrayal. Investigators linked her to attacks on 13 children, 4 of whom died. During the trial, prosecutors described her as manipulative and attention-seeking, motivated by a psychological condition similar to Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Media coverage intensified because of the shocking contrast between her role as a caregiver and the cruelty of her actions. 6. Rosemary West, Crimes. Inside the House of Horrors. Rosemary West became infamous alongside her husband Fred West for committing some of the most brutal murders in modern British history. The couple operated from their home at 25 Cromwell Street in Gloucester, a place later nicknamed the House of Horrors. During the 1970s and 1980s, multiple young women disappeared after encountering the Wests. Investigators later discovered that the victims were sexually abused, tortured, and murdered before their bodies were buried inside the property. Rosemary actively participated in the crimes, helping lure victims into the home and taking part in the abuse. The case shocked Britain because many of the victims were vulnerable young women seeking shelter, work, or companionship. Even more horrifying, one of the victims was the couple's own daughter, Heather West. When police finally searched the property in 1994, they uncovered human remains hidden beneath floors and in the garden. Media coverage became intense as investigators revealed the scale of the crimes. Fred West died by suicide before trial, but Rosemary faced court proceedings alone. 7. Female poisoners, manipulators, and hidden killers. England's criminal history contains many lesser-known female killers who used manipulation, poison, and deception to commit murder. Women like Graham Young's accomplices, domestic poisoners, and fraudulent caretakers often escaped suspicion because society traditionally viewed women as nurturing and harmless. Poison became a particularly common method because it allowed killers to operate quietly within homes and families. In Victorian England, substances like arsenic were easy to obtain and difficult to detect, making them ideal weapons for calculated murder. Some women targeted husbands for insurance money while others killed children, elderly patients, or romantic rivals. Criminologists have studied how female killers often rely on emotional manipulation and trust rather than physical intimidation. These crimes disturbed the public because victims frequently trusted the perpetrators completely. In hospitals, nursing homes, and private homes, female killers sometimes exploited caregiving roles to commit horrifying acts undetected. 8. Why England's female killers still fascinate the world. The stories of England's most notorious female killers continue to fascinate people worldwide because they challenge deeply rooted ideas about gender, trust, and violence. Society often associates women with nurturing and protection, making female-perpetrated violence especially shocking and psychologically disturbing. Many of these women appeared completely ordinary before their crimes were uncovered, creating terrifying contrasts between public image and hidden reality. Their stories also reveal broader social issues involving poverty, domestic abuse, mental illness, addiction, and failures within law enforcement systems. Advances in forensic science continue to reopen historical investigations and inspire debates about criminal psychology. True crime audiences remain captivated by these cases because they combine mystery, manipulation, betrayal, and horror in uniquely unsettling ways. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.